I'm on a date tonight, so I'll have to just up and go to... No, I'll just do it in front of her, shouldn't I?
He's kept going, he's scored! Oh, Stockport pressure. And the header into the superb goal. Chelsea did it. Lisa! Rose tries to get the ball in. Wilkinson!
It's a 5-star performance from Stockport County.
All right, we've got a small house, but we've got a big bloody heart, I tell you.
Hooray, there it is, it's all working. Hello and welcome to the 31st instance of SK3 TV, everyone's favourite podcast looking back at the week that happened in County and in Stockport. I'm Nick, and joining me fantastically as ever. Where are you this week? You're globetrotting again, are you not?
No, I'm in London.
London, yeah.
It's not that exciting, unfortunately.
No, that's globetrotting
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned.
I was hoping, like sometimes I stay in a hotel and behind the bed it's got this really weird like ambient lighting that makes it look like something out of a specialist film. But I'm in a different hotel today and this one hasn't. I was a little bit disappointed because it would have made a great talking point.
It would have done, but well, we've got plenty of talking points anyway, it's fine. And to help us with those talking points, it's Will. Hello.
Hello.
The dream team is reassembled.
Whoop whoop.
Well, sure.
Good.
How are you feeling? I know you've not been well.
I am hanging in there. I'm getting better. I've got to go to the doctors tomorrow. That's just for how I am as a person rather than anything else. But on top of my lurgy issues, I also had like Wi-Fi issues last few weeks. So essentially, I've done rigorous tests over the past week. I've come downstairs where everything seems to work better for my sins. That means I will be annoyed by cats. But basically, I did this whole test thing, and then I was like, right, what can I do to test this? And I was like, right, let's download some stuff and see how long it takes. So think of something you can download, Will.
No comment.
That's right, porn. Yes. I just gigabytes upon gigabytes upon gigabytes, and then didn't know what to do with it. So I'm essentially going to go and leave this laptop in like a hedge by like a train track or something, like the good old days, and some pass it on to the younger generation.
Yeah, that's how it works now, right? You know, long gone are the days where it was just magazines. Now you find
that's
hard
digital first content.
Yeah. I think I heard a cat just then, and now I'm only interested in if there is in fact a cat.
You did hear a cat. It's the cat I don't like, so I've no interest. She's basically waiting for the sweet release of death. I mean, aren't we all? But this cat is as well. But if Knuckles comes down, I'll get him involved. That'll be fine. It'll be all right.
I look forward to it.
Right. Well, we do actually have a lot to go at, county-wise. I've just realised I wasn't connected to the right microphone before, but now I am. So
Oh my
it's fine.
god.
I was wondering why there was a sudden change in.
I know, every time I'm so hypersensitive to Nick's like internet dropping out again because I don't think I've got another week of monologues in me, quite honestly.
Well, what I'll do, I'll just email you all the stuff I've got for my stand-up sets, and you can just do that if you want.
So do we have to do an
with
impression
me.
of you, or
No.
No. Okay.
I mean, doing it as me doesn't work, so it might be better if someone else does it as them. I think that's the best way of doing it. Right, let's get on to some top tier county chat pertaining to Saturday. After we have done the admin, because we are, of course, sponsored by Blackbird Kitchen. Got it right this time. And he is now situated, he's just done his first weekend of service at Gorilla on Whitworth Street in Mancunia. Manchester to the normal people. And if you book on Gorilla's website between now and I think the middle of February, you get 50%
15th
off
of
your food
February.
bill. Yeah, which we shall be doing.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, and we urge you to follow suit. And you don't have to go right into Manchester to do it either. It's like outskirts of Manchester, and you don't have to go like brave all those
Parking's
people.
not too bad, and yeah,
it's fine. Anything else for admin, Hannah?
no.
No. Do you want
Like
to
and
tell people what to
subscribe,
do?
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smooth. And the last few tickets are available for the co-ops evening at Basque on Tuesday night, supporting the Forever Friends of Uganda.
Wednesday night.
Wednesday. I'm all over it. I don't know what day is which. And that's
gutted,
Wednesday night at Basque with Fraser and Lewis Bate.
I'm on the train back on Wednesday night. So I was thinking that could dovetail beautifully into dropping in to Basque. And I had to change my train because time zone stuff. Anyway, yeah. So I get back into Euston, Stockport, like 11 o'clock now. So I think
that's no good.
and Lewis will be tucked up in bed by then.
You'd hope they are, with an important game to come on Saturday. And a game
there's still 2 days.
Well, yeah, I suppose so. Anything could happen.
If they're going to bed for Saturday, Wednesday night, they're probably going to be over. They'll have slept too long, and then when you sleep too long, you get overtired again. It's
yes, I do.
It's not a good combination.
Yes, I do. That's basically how I've spent my last 2 weeks. Just I've been like asleep all day, and then yeah, essentially, yeah, and then just being really awake at night. And then when I have some of my famous great ideas at night, no one's awake to receive them.
Oh, I'm awake.
So I just forget them.
Just send them to me.
No, I think it was too late even for you.
It was
so late that it become early.
Yeah, but people have their phone on ring.
Yeah, I don't. I've not had a
no,
ringtone
exactly.
for
So you're not
20
going
years.
to disturb anyone, are you?
No, I know, but I need immediate feedback on whether my idea is good or not.
I was up until 4:30 last night. I probably could have given you immediate feedback.
Oh, I was up until 4:15. That would have been handy. Well, it clearly wasn't a good idea because it hasn't stuck around in my head. But I'll tell you what is a good idea. Talking about the fantastic 3-1 win at Reading, which we will do after this. Hannah, talk to me.
It was a fantastic 3-1 win at Reading.
Superb away performance. The perfect away performance, I would say.
It was good. I missed the other fixture, as in when we played them at home. And I remember people saying at the time that it was our best performance since Blackpool, and they played brilliantly and all good. So I felt like I'd missed out a little bit, but they just seemed to bring out the best in us, which is funny because their fans think that they brought out the worst in us from a kind of shithousery, disciplinary point of view, which I think is hilarious because half the time we spend our kind of lives saying, oh, we need a bit more of that shithousery. We don't have anyone who, is like a bit of a dick and, goes after things, like makes a big fuss. So like all that, all the palaver about Tanto when he was injured and then went off injured, I just don't get it. And there was a lot of silliness. I mean, also silliness from our side about Garcia's and Connolly when Connolly hit the ad boards. It's just momentum and you can't just stop. Incidentally, I'm back on the Football League paper, rated the referee a 7. So it can't have been that bad, can it?
I thought he was all right. He did. I did tweet it at the time, but he looked like a man who is continually trying to have affairs. That's just what he put me.
I don't think I remember him at all, like what he looked like or anything. But now I'm off to Google.
I was lucky enough to be watching with the Reading commentators, who were all genuinely really, really bad. They spent the whole game whinging, calling us a physical side, bullies, just complaining about the ref at every turn. And it's just I think I've just come to the view that all refs are actually okay. It just depends on what the result is. I think that's it, really.
I think there's a lot as well. Like we're quite lucky in that when we're at a game, there's normally at least one person watching it from home. And often the person who's watching it from home will be like, no, it was fine.
Yeah.
It's just angles and perspective and where you're sitting in the ground. And, you know, also you kind of get caught up in that whole crowd mentality about refereeing decisions. So yeah, I think there's a bit of that as well.
Yeah,
I think with Reading, compared to them, we probably are quite a big physical bullying side because they are a side full of kids.
Yeah.
I think compared to some of the other teams, we're nowhere near as physical or as strong. But the difference that we might have over them is we are very good at pressing. We are very good at exploiting a high line, where we struggle as teams that defend deep. So I just think that Reading sort of, the way that they play suits us perfectly, which is why we've come away with a 7-2 goal difference over 2 games. And yeah, I just think that's more of it than us being a particularly physical side, because we're not. It's something that I have seen said about us last season as well, but usually, again, when we play sides that have more younger players, less experienced players, we've had a sort of a bit more of a streetwise element to us. But yeah, I think it's more a comparison between us and them rather than a general we're this, because we're not. You know, but we see us every week. We see us every week, and they've only seen us twice at best. So.
But they are the only club ever to have fallen from grace, to have dodgy owners. We need to have a great deal of empathy for them, because, you know, they're in a very unusual situation. We can't possibly imagine what it would be like to be Reading.
Look at them right now, as low as their rightful level. That's where they are right now.
It's okay,
what
because
people consider their rightful level.
Because they just had the double done over them by Stockport County, and in fairness to all the complaints, it has only happened once before. I don't think they've ever done the double over us, but either way, yeah, it happened in the 70s.
There's been a lot of draws in there. I was looking through them results.
A lot of draws,
But there's one of their fans whinging on Twitter today, and it gets to the point where I suppose that's a sign of a really good satire when you can't tell whether they're taking the piss or not. But he was doing all these replies saying, "Oh well, you've not suffered like we have," or "Come back when you've suffered." And I don't know if they're joking, so I don't want to wade in. I don't want to wade in on a blue tick verified account and get in there.
No, they're probably not, just because you only know your own club, don't you? And it's only through, like, I remember interviewing someone from Wigan, I think, about all the shenanigans that have gone on there, and I just had no idea, like, the kind of the consequences of the managers that they'd had and let go. And so, you know, especially when, I guess, would they have been Premier League then?
Yeah.
So
Premier League when we were dropping out of the
no,
football,
Reading.
Oh, Reading. Yeah. How long did Reading have there? Was it like 2 or 3 years?
It wasn't long, because it was Nigel Adkins, wasn't it?
Nick, with all of your recent quizzes you've been doing, I thought you'd know exactly how long Reading had been up there.
No.
I think it was early 2000s, and it was when there was Nigel Adkins and Andy Crosby, who was linked with Barrow, and then they've ended up signing Andy Wing. Somebody Wing.
Oh, yeah, from Solihull, and Solihull have put a very snotty statement out.
Oh, I've not seen that.
Basically saying, well, we've not been doing well, and we were planning to sack him. So if this means we can appoint a good manager.
It's funny though, isn't it? Because I know it was Halifax that Pete Wild went from. Yeah. They're interchangeable in my head, Solihull.
Very much so. Very much top end National League. Yeah. We should get through the get to the goals on Saturday, because there was a brief period where we were convinced that Macaulay Salmon Hales had become prolific.
I know. And you know what? I think Charlie said this on Saturday night, but I may have made it up. It may have been, you know, at some point in the last week, that yes, okay, we don't have Louis Barry. He didn't say that. I'm saying it. But we do have lots of different names appearing on the score sheet. And, you know, we might not have that, you know, prolific scorer who is banging them in every week, but we're very lucky in that we've got different players every week making it on. So on Saturday, I mean, Macca, but Tant, Connolly and Diamond was Connolly's first goal, I think Diamond's second. It was encouraging and shows promise. Got a great Norwood stat. Has Norwood been relieved of his assist for the first one?
Yes,
because
yes,
Mac
he
has
has
been given it now.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
If
Correct.
he had not, as in if that assist had have stood, he would have had 2 assists on Saturday, which is cumulatively more than he has assisted in the 72 league games prior to that. He's done it once before against, I think it was Huddersfield and, I don't know, someone lower league. To Yeovil, Huddersfield against Yeovil in December 2013. So I'm kind of sad that that's been taken away from him because that was the
Unfortunately, isn't it? But for all the talk of taking things away from Ollie Norwood, I'll admit I've been a Norwood agnostic. To steal one of Hannah's fantastic phrases. I think me and Ben spoke about him on air the other week and said, look, I just don't. There's been against poorer teams, he's looked, but he was phenomenal on Saturday.
It was good, really good.
I really hope it's the start of a run because we could do with everyone like stepping up now. I've just got this feeling we're going to go on one of them mad runs, the mad county runs, full stop that we do January onwards.
Well, with Shrewsbury and Crawley, I mean, I don't want to tempt fate, but Crawley haven't won since the 3rd of December. I mean, we will inevitably draw with them because that's what happens.
Of course, yeah.
But Shrewsbury as well are in better form. They're kind of mid-table in the form table. Gareth Ainsworth appears to have made a difference, and they beat Wrexham. But I don't know. We'll see.
My concern with Norwood is still around those games where we're going to be in a bit of a scrap, where we're going to be in a bit of a fight. Reading is not going to be that game. He's going to be afforded time on the ball. He's going to be able to pick out those passes that we know he's capable of. Great set piece deliveries. It's when we're playing against the likes of Rotherham, the likes of Birmingham, those sorts of games where I think he's gone missing. So, you know, I am also in the sort of agnostic camp. I think he can bring a lot. I was very impressed with him on his debut. I think he then slipped. He's shown glimpses. I think we need him to come through in one of those games where we don't have it all our own way.
Yeah.
If he does that, then I'll start to go, okay, he's turning into the signing that we all hoped he'd be. But yeah, very good performance against Reading. Great balls into the box. It is a shame that he's had that assist taken away from him, but equally, I'm glad Tanto got on the score sheet. And as you all know, I am the biggest Tanto stan.
Join the club, mate. Join the club.
Been sublime. I started that club though. When we first signed, you remember I watched him a lot at Sutton. When we first signed him, I was like, he's a good player. He's going to play at the top level. You know, this is a brilliant signing. And it took a while for other people to sort of start to see what I was talking about, but I think he is starting to show that now because he's not just quick; he's strong. He can finish. He has the potential to be a full, well-rounded package as a centre forward and have everything that you could possibly want from the role.
However,
go on.
While we're still on Tanto, his shin pads.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So, as a parent of a child who plays grassroots football and a parent of a child whose football clubs send out regular emails about what is acceptable as the shin pad and what is not, I don't understand why. And like, I completely get Charlie's point that the team as a whole suffers if he picks up an injury because he's not wearing adequate protective equipment. But why then is no one saying, like, you know, not that they should have to do this, but you know, like you have your studs checked. Well, as you walk out the changing room, Lando's like, "You got the right shin pads on, lad?"
I think there's that thing of being like, well, they're adults. There's no regulation
But
on
clearly
what a shin
not.
pad needs to be. Well, let me finish my point. I think there's that kind of thought process of they're adults. There's no regulation on what a shin pad actually entails. We should trust these adult human beings to make the right decisions. The fact that this is the second player now that we've lost to an impact injury that would have been avoided with something a little bit more substantial, I would hope that the club are now going to start going, right, there needs to be a change of thought process here. Because the problem is I'm in agreement with Dave Challoner at the moment. But if this happens again, if another player gets a kick in the shins and they've not been wearing the shin pads, at some point that does come down to management to say, this needs to change. We need to look at wearing something else. I mean, I've got a pair of shin pads in my wardrobe, and they're like a tank. They've got ankle support and everything, and I couldn't imagine playing it. I mean, at this point, I couldn't imagine playing football ever again, but I certainly couldn't imagine playing anything else. That may be trauma from being hit by hockey sticks.
Yeah, whereas and this is the point that the like at grassroots level they're saying, these kids, and Charlotte's shin pad, she's got better ones now because they've upgraded them, but they were like tiny, like this kind of size, a couple of inches wide if that. And it's coming from that's what the Premier League players wear, and that's what the players that they're seeing on the TV wear, and that's what they want.
That's absolute nonsense. Because I suppose the aggressive two-footed tackle has pretty much been phased out now. So it's not like the old days where you'd see like 3 or 4 of them a game. So because that's how it was impressed on me as a kid. It was like, make sure you wear your shin pads. Like you're not playing football if you're not wearing your shin pads, because they would expect some industrial tackles to come in. But now,
I've got some breaking news.
It's
Don't worry, it's not a signing, but it is related. Mr. Lewis Fiorini has gone straight onto the bench for Dundee tonight, so we will be able to see very quickly.
Oh yeah, this is we discussed this, not on here, but
not
in the group chat.
Yeah, sorry. It might be breaking news for the viewers.
Yeah.
Unless they're listening to it in 3 days and Fiorini's already scored a hat-trick.
I hope he does. I hope he does well there. I really do. I think Jim Goodwin's a good manager. He's been there forever now, it feels like. And I hope that he and Sam Dalby start tearing it up.
Well,
some of the
Wrexham fans think, because Dalby's on the bench, that he's on his way back.
He's changed his Instagram picture to him in a Wrexham shirt again.
Oh, has he? That's fairly definitive, isn't it?
And Wrexham fans are sort of up in arms because they're like, no, he's not what we need. We need some pace. And they have. But I mean, it was very noticeable on. I mean, we managed anyway, but it was very noticeable on Saturday after Tanto went off that we are distinctly lacking in pace. I think the Fevrier injury is sort of put pay to any pace up the top end of the pitch anyway. But it didn't matter because we were by far the better team. Connolly is another player I would like to mention actually, because he was maligned by myself very early on, particularly when he had to defend crosses, because he just seemed to stand there watching the ball go over his head. But he's just been. It's getting to the point now, and I never thought we'd say this, but we're getting to the point now where it's like, oh, does Fraser Horsfall get back in? Which is almost an unthinkable thing to have been saying if you go back even a few weeks. Bonkers.
Well, at the moment, no, because he's injured.
No, but when he's fit, does he get back in?
Yeah, but by then someone else will be out. It's like a revolving door of injuries at this time of the year.
Ethan Poe will have done his hammy and
been sold. Should we start a rumour now?
Yeah. The absolute meltdown at the end of the transfer window would be great.
I think the summer. I don't think we'll have a match at the summer.
No,
it'll be somewhere that he goes. Yeah, it'll be somewhere that he goes. So we'll move on to transfer window in incomings and outgoings. Spoiler alert, it's outgoings.
I wanted to say one last thing on Diamond actually. I actually think I sort of sold him short on the message board the other day because I described him as scuffing his goal.
Oh, I was going to pull you up on that, but can't be asked.
When I first saw it, that's how it sort of looked. But I think watching it back on the highlights last night, like he's falling backwards and done really well to get the shot away. I think I don't know what it was about. So I was watching it on my phone at work, so I wasn't really getting a decent view of it. But it just looked like it was sort of a bit mishit. But I think it might have been the keeper's lack of a save that made it feel that way. But no, I think I undersold him. So fair play for.
Well, I've said all this time, Jack Diamond's got something.
Well, so have I.
And it's nice seeing all these players who were maligned, who were written off. Talking of writing off, you'll have seen this, Will. A certain poster on Yellow Board on Friday night, when discussion was being held about what 11 you'd play on Saturday, was I'd play the academy kids because the season's over.
Oh my gosh.
And it set me back a week in my recovery.
It set me back 3-4 years to when Challoner first came in, or any of the times that we went up under Jim and it was like, season's over. It's September. Yeah. What are you talking about? Yeah. The season is not over in September, and lo and behold, it was.
You say, I'd play Shea Gardner because the season's over. It's like, what sort of club are we?
Mental.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Who is it that's now at? Anyway, it was Shrewsbury, talking about Shrewsbury and Crawley, and saying, was it a 6-pointer? No, Burton Crawley. Is it a 6-pointer? No. Elliot, that's what his name is. Like it's January. It's there's plenty of time.
Yeah. Well, we will get onto the window and onto the Crawley game right after our random county non-league goal of the week. Will, would you like to tell me what was so special about that absolutely superb, not at all scuffed finish?
That it was absolutely superb and not at all scuffed.
That, and it was Sean O'Hanlon versus Congleton in January 2016, which was the first goal of Jim Gannon's third spell as manager.
There you go.
So 9 years ago this very week.
There you go. Was that Cheshire Senior Cup?
That was Cheshire Senior Cup that we went on to win that season, if I remember rightly. And
first silverware of Jim's third spell. Yeah.
Yes, and thank you to Chris Eaton for sourcing that and sourcing loads of other stuff as he does, which you can see across all our social media accounts, including our much vaunted TikToks. It's not banned over here.
And Cheshire Senior Cup tomorrow night against Warrington. The rearranged fixture.
Very nicely, the rearranged fixture after a fair bit of bitching between the two clubs on social media, which was absolutely superb. Yeah, is it? You planning on going, Will? Are you planning on going Warrington away?
Tomorrow?
Yeah,
no, I'm working.
No. All right, yeah. I'm not, and I'm still not going. Yeah.
Are you going, Anna? I know you were going to go to the original. I know you're in London. You can't.
No, I'm in London. Yes, I can't. Yeah.
Well, I'd imagine, because from what Challoner said last week, it's going to be the academy team and the academy staff taking charge of it, with maybe a couple of first teamers getting minutes. So.
Which is how it should be for the Cheshire Senior Cup. Now we're back in
now we're back in the league, yeah.
Do you know what, though? If you were that way inclined and you wanted to go along and see if anyone from the Trialist family was joining us tomorrow night, it might be an opportunity.
I don't see why there would be anybody from the Trialist family, because we're not signing anyone. No one's coming here to all this. Ever again. We're going to keep playing the current 11/18 until they're 110.
It's very exciting. You're of the same mind as me, Will, that you just don't want us to sign anyone. You just want them to you just want grown men to make absolute show of themselves.
Yeah. I can't wait for the first time I read this transfer window that Mark Stott's pulling out.
Oh well, this sort of stuff's already started.
I saw some before the window. I haven't seen it during the window yet. But
no, I saw someone told me that Mark Stott was tightening his purse strings, and that's why we weren't signing anyone.
Amazing! It started.
This is while all the plans are taking place for redevelopment of the stadium.
Are they? It should have already started. It's not started yet, Nick.
Oh, I know.
That's true. It was supposed to be January.
Yeah.
And when it does start, I want a webcam there. Not in like an OnlyFans way, but like a time lapse thing, so you can just log in and watch it. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that should
That'd be
happen. That does happen at a lot of building sites. So
Yeah.
it should definitely happen at
You
SK3.
could watch all the local wildlife like that. I maintain
Yeah, being
that
cut to
rat that I
pieces.
found, that rat that I found in the pop side can't be the only one.
That's
So
not-
yeah.
That is the wildlife in the wildlife reserve. That is rats living in amongst the Japanese knotweed.
And
It was
the- and the
enormous. It's one of the biggest
fly
rats
tip
I've ever seen.
fridges.
Yeah.
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 It's not nice round there. I had a walk around there the other week. It's not very nice. Shall we chit chat? Because obviously, window wise now, I think it's quite easy to put a false narrative on how our window has gone so far. For all the talk of we've lost 6 players, it's like, well, one of those was playing regularly. The other 5, we are not batting an eyelid really that they're off. So technically, it's been 1 out, 1 in really. If we finish this and then Ethan Pye's been sold, then I'll panic.
I think the concern is around like Sam Hughes particularly, who apparently he was still living in Burton. I don't know whether he'd necessarily settled too well.
You've
but
got to embrace the new Berlin.
Yes, okay. But he
I'm a
like
Berlin
with him
believer.
going out without someone coming in and Fraser Horsfall injured leaves us a little light. But that said, he was on the bench against Palace. If Charlie knew that he really wasn't going to feature on Saturday against Reading anyway, then it really doesn't matter. It's just timing, and Charlie said on Saturday that there are people coming in and they'll be in by this Saturday. Meanwhile, this team that started last week, Tanto accepted, and that might end up being not as bad as everyone thought it was. That team can continue, start again. Odin Bailey depends on his paternity situation. I think
paternity situation makes it sound very Jeremy Kyle, Hannah.
It does a bit, yeah. No, his partner had gone into labour and then labour stopped, and so she may have had a baby by now. But
there's a politics joke there, but I couldn't be asked. So I was going to go. Have I got news for you for a second there?
Is this the one that I said to you in a WhatsApp the other day?
Oh no, I was just going to say, well, Labour got in and then Labour seemingly stopped. But Lee keeps asking us in the comments if there's any transfer rumours. We don't know, frankly. There was 2 names doing the rounds that Sam Byrne has replied to people to say, not that I know of, which is always upsetting.
Which, to be fair, given Sam Byrne's history, doesn't mean that there's nothing in it.
No,
because he will not confirm a rumour unless it is about to happen, unless the ink is basically still drying on the contract. That's when Sam will confirm a rumour. He might sort of, if we're interested, he might say something about that, but also he's not beyond keeping his cards close to his chest on certain things. The other one that I've heard was the Hamilton from Middlesbrough.
Yeah, who we were linked with last summer when he left Man City. So
yes,
he and then whatever the Middlesbrough, I think it was a Gazette, one of the Gazette kind of websites have said today or reported that I don't know what the Middlesbrough manager is, that he said he's not going anywhere again. Like this time of year, I mean, he was on the bench on Saturday, which I thought was slightly unusual, given that the stories that were doing the rounds at Reading was that this was a done deal and it was going to be announced imminently. So it'd be interesting to see what's happened there. But things change, especially with loans. Like they can have injuries. Middlesbrough have been linked with Louis Barry. Louis Barry and Micah Hamilton are quite similar in terms of attacking right-footed attacking midfielders that play on the left. both have scored in the Champions League. Both have played for their boyhood club in the Villa and City. So it would make sense that if Middlesbrough were trying to make space for Louis Barry, then they might try and offload someone else.
I will be genuinely glad when Louis Barry does go somewhere.
Oh God,
And
same.
that's done with. Oh my word.
I also wouldn't read too much into him being on the bench, given that. So I listened to Fiorini's interview at Dundee United, and it sounded like that he'd already spoken to Jim Goodwin before our game on Saturday, and he still was on the bench for us and still came on. So I think there are definitely conversations going to be happening. I think there are players who are playing games for their parent clubs now who won't be at those clubs in the next week or two.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So I think they're probably. Dave Chandler's already talked about dominoes and how one transfer then leads on to others and others and others. I think we're just waiting for certain movements to happen, at which point we'll start seeing players come in. At which point everybody can calm down.
Yeah. I think with the Hughes one, it was just a case of there being a League One club in for him. It's like, there might not be another one in for him. Let's
a club
and a team that try and play the right way, even though they're failing at it at the moment.
And also a team that, in theory, we shouldn't be battling out for a playoff place with, unless their season massively turns around, which is not beyond the realms of possibility. We've had this before. We've loaned we've loaned Ben Barkley out, we've loaned Richie Bennett out, and then it's ended up coming back and biting us in the playoffs. I don't think Peterborough are going to go on a mad run, but they might. Sam Hughes might have an absolute blinder, and if he does, fair play to him and fair play to Peterborough.
Didn't he play really well on Saturday?
Yeah, had a very good game by all accounts.
Man of the match in their first clean sheet of the season.
Was he actually man of the match, or was he Safer Scores man of the match?
He was, I believe, Peterborough's official man of the match.
Okay, but funnily enough, the league paper has rated him a 6.
Yeah.
But none of the posh players were particularly. But it does say that so they've got Teo Edun and Sam Hughes made a huge difference after being thrown back into the host back four.
But only a 6. I'm now beginning to question their rating of a 7 for the referee on Saturday.
Yeah.
The Peterborough and Leyton Orient got a 1 out of 5 rating for the game, and Sebastian Stockbridge got 7 out of 10. So that doesn't really track, does it?
I refuse to believe that he ever gets a 7 out of 10.
I know, but Ferguson said the 2 lads that have come in were excellent. They were really good. Sam, you can see what he brings. He will also help others. We feel they will definitely improve us, and that was the case today. They're good for him.
I hope he does well. I really hope he does well there. I really hope Lewis Fiorini does there. The last time I was on, I spoke a lot about hoping he gets a loan. I don't know why I'd even thought of Scotland, but actually I think it's ideal for him, given his background as a Scotland under-21s, given the fact that he will be playing against a wide variety of standard of opposition. I'm a firm believer that there are players who are sort of lower League 2, upper National League who can do well in the Scottish Prem. But then you've also got Rangers Celtic who realistically are at the minimum or at an upper championship level. So I think it'd be good for him. I really hope he does well there. Last I saw, they were losing the Dundee derby.
He could end up coming up against Louis Barry at some point during the rest of the season.
When he inevitably goes to Celtic and we see another breakdown.
And Aki Wright having a terrible time of it at weekend.
He did, bless him. And he's done well in the Lodge.
Yeah.
But that says it all about the exposure we get to the Scottish Premiership, because we only ever see we've seen Aki Wright score an absolute banger from 35 yards out, and then we've seen him do that at weekend. We just don't see the normal stuff. We just see either really good or really bad stuff. So I think that's just the Scottish League.
That is Scottish football. It is the sublime to the ridiculous every week, and really I should watch more of it than I do.
There was a Dundee United fan who replied to County's tweet about Fiorini going on loan, and the Dundee United fan replied saying, "What's he like?" And I said, "Tits and iron brew." So
I saw that.
I'm using that blue tick for good.
Also, I thought you said Sam Dalby was on the bench, but it looks like he's starting according to Flash Score.
It was I Wrexham. Oh my god,
Wrexham.
I'm so tired. It was a Wrexham fan. Yeah.
But I think
they were wrong.
moaning about the transfer window and apparent lack of activity is not just a County thing, apparently.
Oh, God, no.
Wrexham fans have been, I wouldn't say meltdown, because I hate how the word meltdown gets misused when it comes to football stuff. But
Yeah.
they were pretty irate on Saturday, particularly losing to, or whenever it was. Was it Thursday they played? Did he play a weird day?
I thought-
Imagine that.
I thought it was
Wrexham
Friday.
played Shrewsbury on Friday,
Yeah.
and then they've
Friday,
got
that's it.
Birmingham this Thursday.
Stupid days.
Oh no! It's Thursdays. It was Thursday because we were doing the League Two podcast. It was Thursday.
Yeah, there we go. So they've lost to Shrewsbury on Thursday, and some of the whinging. I mean, the more balanced
It
Wrexham
is.
fans, fair play, have come out and said, "Look, we've not been good enough away from home. This type of result was coming. Blah blah blah. It's a shame it's against a rival. Blah blah." Because they do consider Shrewsbury rivals.
Well, they are.
Not us.
That
but-
is their
but them.
traditional.
Yeah,
That is their traditional rivalry.
That's fine,
Like,
apparently.
That is the traditional. It's Wrexham Shrewsbury, Wrexham Chester. Those are their two big derbies. They hate each other. It is a proper two-way rivalry. It's a derby, and it was really funny that Shrewsbury won.
And there was trouble that the police have got involved in, and yeah.
We don't have enough of that. Police getting involved. That's. Yeah, a bit more of that before the end of the season, please.
You know, you heard
Something
that
they don't need to be
Blackpool.
involved in. What have they done?
Blackpool apparently blaming us and trouble on no one else getting the same ticket allocation this
There
season
wasn't
so
any
far.
trouble.
I know.
There was no trouble.
I know.
People are weird. Football
I-
clubs are
I-
weird.
I
This is
skip
why
it.
I will never get on board with anybody who says that our fans are any stranger than any other. All football clubs, all sets of football fans generally just have a high proclivity for weirdness.
Football
And I'm
fans
kind
should
of
just
here
shut
for
up.
it.
There should be
Proclivity,
no message boards.
that's a
There should be
great
no
word.
podcasts.
I wouldn't go that far.
You should have to
because
apply for a license to do a podcast. You should have to go in
Who
to
is
the
the
publish
license
report.
issuing authority though, Nick? 'Cause-
Tom Mann, we're in with him.
All right, fine. I'll just cover up my t-shirt.
Yeah, just get, yeah, if we can get just something, because there's no, it's just not regulated at all. And
No,
football,
but it doesn't need to
football,
be.
football Twitter's just the worst, but it upsets me. It's like the whole thing of like, oh, it's a new year, it's 2025, it's a new year, everything's going to be good this year, and
Oh,
then
it's been
5
awful.
minutes on Twitter, just like, oh,
This year has been dreadful. I hate
no, it
it.
has been.
Be
Since
really
he
bad.
died.
Can we have a do-over, please? Can we start
Imagine,
again? in
imagine having
February?
COVID in 2025. Imagine that.
I mean, you are sort of doing that whole fashionably late thing.
I'm like a sickly Victorian child. Just like COVID and consumption. Don't know what consumption is, but a lot of them seem to die of it. Exposure.
Tuberculosis.
People die of exposure. I don't know what that is.
Tuberculosis, by the way, if you actually didn't know what consumption.
Oh, is that what consumption is?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
dying
I
of
thought-
exposure when you get flashed and have a heart attack?
Sure. It can be, if that makes you happy. If that's your dying wish, then yes, that's.
No,
what
it's not my dying
of
wish.
exposure
But, well, I don't
is.
know. I get to see some then, wouldn't I? But no, I don't think it's my dying wish. My dying wish is for us to spend this transfer window not signing anyone. That's my
Oh.
dying wish.
It's
No.
just hilarious.
It would be
Also, I know
fun
that
short
Bailey
term.
liked it. I think the reason that I'm so chilled about it and just enjoying the madness is because this season has already exceeded expectations for me.
Yeah.
Like, if we fall out of the playoffs and finish mid-table at this point, I'm like, disappointing. But also, we're really not ready as a club to go up. Of course, there is that whole thing of if we get the opportunity to go up, we absolutely have to grab it with both hands. But I see no reality where we don't come back down again the following season if that happens.
I think
And
we're fine where we are.
As
for another
we
couple of
are
seasons.
well experienced, momentum is a big thing in football. And at the moment, we have forward and upward momentum, and it is very, very easy for that to turn into backwards and downward momentum.
We're at that point where we're still seen as a newly promoted club, but carry on like this for another year or two in League One, then we'll be a top League One side. And I still don't think we're getting seen as as evidenced by Reading fans saying, I can't believe we're losing to teams like Stockport.
I think it's just that thing of if you're under 20, we've only ever been a lower league or a non-league club. If you're under 30, you sort of, as a sort of conscious being, we've probably only ever been a lower league or a non-league club. I think because we're, I'm in my mid-30s, and for me, when I started going to county, we were on our way up. We got all the way up to the second tier. I've got a very different perspective on where we are as a club than somebody who supports somebody else and is 10 years younger than me. Because for somebody who's 10 years younger than me, they just saw us as a club going down, 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 brief flirt back with League One and then down all the way again. I think it's funny that Reading fans don't seem to know their own history and only look at the last 20 years when they were a Premier. And I say Reading, it's not just Reading that are guilty of this. Blackpool fans have shown degrees of this. Wigan fans as well. It's a very common. The Charlton Athletic fans, I think, are also guilty of this at times. It's like they've had a season or two in the Premier League, so they think that's where they belong, and they kind of discount it. Bradford City.
Yeah, nailed them.
I think it's like they kind of forget that football is cyclical. Teams go up, they go down. We're gonna, unless the wheels do fall off, and there's always a chance for that. This is county. I fully expect that within a few years' time we will be in the second tier, and I think there is probably an ambition among certain people that we get to the Premier League at some point.
Well, it's funny you should say, because that takes me on to exactly what I was just about to say. I am convinced. I've been laughed at previously for saying that's the aim, because people have said to me, "Oh well, Stott said Championship." It's like, yes, but it'd sound stupid if he came out, bought a National League club and went, "We're going to go to the Premier League." Look at how much Neville still gets it thrown back at him for Salford and what have you. It still gets that thrown in his face now, as he should do, because it's fucking ridiculous. But for me, I'm not going to bore people to death on how it should go when we do get to the Premier League, because it's boring to everyone but us.
Well, we've done it before.
We've done it. We've nailed it. We've absolutely nailed it. Hannah, if you don't remember, I'll send you an email later. I've got it all drafted. Don't worry. I'll send you my PowerPoint. What I think would be really good is if we were to get to the Premier League and then have our time there and then drop, but keep dropping all the way back to the National League North.
And start do this whole journey. You know what? That would be more interesting.
When you complete a video game,
the same division for 20 years.
When you complete a computer game, it's like, oh, you've completed it. Now, do you want to complete it again, but with a different colour? That type of thing. That's what I want to
do. With all of the starting equipment, so we'll have the nice shiny new ground.
Yes, exactly.
We'll have all that stuff. We'll have a lovely new training facility in the borough. It'll be great, and then we can do it all over again.
And we won't have. We won't have that.
Can we not go back to part-time regional football?
Yeah, we won't have that opening 5 years or so of sorting our shit out and wondering whether we're going to live to see another transfer window. We're going to be, everything's going to be set and ready there.
And then we'll go. I know I've mentioned this and I'm probably boring the hell out of everyone, but I really want to see how long we can keep going our streak of finishing higher every season. Nobody has come to me with an idea of who has that longest streak. I think
you're gonna have to get onto the Guardian.
Yeah, I've never.
Too busy eating fucking tofu, aren't they?
So am I.
Tofu eating wokarati.
Yeah, that's me. And the Guardian. Yeah, like I genuinely, I'm interested in seeing how long we keep it up for, and another reason why I'm in no rush to fly through League One, because we won't maintain it in the Championship.
And if we think we're dealing with some insufferable fan bases now, looking at you, Birmingham and Reading, then just imagine, because we're going to get to the point soon, next couple of years, where a big Premier League mainstay is going to come down. It's going to be West Ham or Everton. despite their managerial changes. Eventually, one of those two might come down, or if not, Leeds will go up and come back down again. So we'll have to deal with the entitlement of them, which will be exciting.
We just missed Derby, but apparently they were an absolute nightmare.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Ian Dowden points out,
Yes,
Will,
I've
that
just seen.
Luton did hold the record for most seasons.
But
finishing,
I'm gonna ask you to provide me a source on this later, Ian, because I want to be able to point to an official document that states
official
that we have.
document.
And then
A legally binding
and then
document.
I can edit the Wikipedia page of football league, of like English football records, because I can believe that Luton did it from the National League with improving every season, but somebody like AFC Wimbledon starting even further down, it's that kind of a team that were really down in the non-league doldrums, possibly even someone like Salford. That's the kind of span that I want to see. A Whitehawk did like a mad
What happened
8
to them?
years or something. I think the money ran out.
As it does. Rushden and Diamonds might be a good shout as well, because Rushden and Diamonds got all the way to the Football League.
On this whole thing of how sort of lacking in knowledge a lot of football fans are on football club history, I was on a YouTube video about Wrexham that had wound me up in ways, because it was dismissive of a lot of the criticisms of the media coverage of Wrexham, of being like, you can't blame Wrexham for the media coverage. It's like, I'm not. I'm criticising the media coverage. I'm not hating Wrexham. I'm hating the circus around them. Somebody described what's happened at Wrexham as the same that what will happen to Wrexham is the same thing that happened to Gretna, which is where there was all this money thrown at them and then all the wheels fell off. And
I don't think that's fair.
Well, apart from anything else, Wrexham have a history. Wrexham have a history of being a football league club. It's like the whole reason that the Wrexham thing works is because they were a club that fought on hard times. I know, but I'm saying good things here. I'm saying good things. The whole reason it works
they'll find it.
Is because they were a traditional football league club who fought on hard times. It's the same reason why Mark stopped taking over us, rather than someone like, say, and no shade in Tank, because I really like them, they're just the first club that popped into my head, Curzon Ashton. It would have made no sense for him to take over a club like that. You take over a club that's fallen on hard times. That's the thing that people don't see, that some people don't seem to realise about Wrexham, is they're not like a tiny minnow. They were quite a big club for a sort of lower league club for a long time, and now they're surpassing where they've been previously. Yeah. But certainly League Two and League One, they're no strangers to this level, as neither are we, and neither are Reading.
Neither. Yeah. I'll be. Oh, it's going to be annoying probably having to go there next season, isn't it?
Oh no, they'll win the playoffs. They'll win the playoffs, and then I'll have to hear that insufferable "We Are the Royals" song again.
Well, it takes us on to events at Bolton, because that's who I'm tipping to win the playoffs. Bolton are my tip for a playoff win.
No.
They were my tip for the title at the start of the season. That's gone well.
Oh, Rotherham were mine.
I had Rotherham in the playoffs.
I was convinced Rotherham would absolutely piss me.
Bolton are falling apart behind the scenes.
I know,
James
but
Charles is just gone.
He just keeps getting these results, though. He just keeps... Well, apart from Saturday,
but not in the playoffs. For the last 2 seasons, they've been in the playoffs and bottled it.
It seems like it's just a matter of keeping him until the chances of playoffs is completely gone.
I did see the other day, I don't know, I can't even remember. Do you know what? Actually, as I start talking, I'm thinking, no, you didn't do your due diligence, Hannah. That he'd been told that he'd been given 3 games. But now that I think about it, I'm fairly sure it was on Twitter, and I
saw it on Twitter.
And go and look at the profile or anything like that. So, yeah.
No, he's gonna just stay there forever. We're never gonna sign anybody, but Ian Evatt will never leave Bolton. Those are the 2 things that will happen.
Death, taxes.
Keith Richards living forever. Oh, that joke's not going to work when he eventually goes.
I'll clip that up and save it for the day he dies.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, really
if he dies like tomorrow, now, then that's going to be like, whoa.
I did that. I mean, it would only be a coincidence because I made the Keith Richards joke a lot. So, yeah, Keith
I know,
Richards.
yeah. it would
Keith
be.
Richards, the cockroaches, and the tardigrades. That's where it all is.
Well, I think we'll wrap it up there because we've got on to celebrity deaths now, so it's probably as good a place to wrap it up as any, isn't it? So we will be back next Monday, not next Saturday. That'd be stupid. That'd be ridiculous. Maybe we'll do a Twitter Space thing and see what happens.
Maybe not.
And Monday will be post Crawley, pre Shrewsbury, so that'll be a nice little sandwich.
It'll be all right, won't
I mean,
we? Yeah.
if we hang on a few more minutes, we might see if Fiorini comes on at half time in the Dundee derby.
We might also see if there's a 9 o'clock announcement.
Yeah.
I just like saying Dundee derby. It's just Dundee derby.
Oh, they should have done Dundeal.
Oh, this is
They
why...
would. I think if they'd gone, I had to remind somebody on Yellowboard the other day that it is Dundee United, not Dundee. It's two different teams. I think if it had been Dundee that signed him, then it would have been Dundeal.
But probably spelt wrong.
Why couldn't they do
United.
Dundeal United? Yeah.
Well, they could have done. They could have done.
They
probably
should have done, if you ask me.
They
Really.
probably do that from time to time.
No. How are
I feel
Crawley
like-
doing anyway, Hannah? Well, you've got your league table in front of you. We
Yeah, we haven't really talked about Crawley, to be honest.
No, because we know it's going to be a
Crawley.
draw.
Right.
That's the point.
So apparently someone said it in the comments that Crawley haven't. Well, no, actually, so Shrewsbury haven't won away since Crawley. So their last 6 they haven't won. They last won at the 3rd of December against. So they beat Charlton and Rotherham in quick succession. They've got, so of the last 6, 4 losses and 2 draws, a 4-4 draw against Exeter, and then they lost 3-0 to Barnsley and then drew with Burton. They lost 3-0 to Leyton Orient. They lost 1-0 to Birmingham. So they have got recent form for going behind early on and then recovering, which they've done against us in the past. They had crisis talks last week to try and work out like how they can survive in League One. Essentially, Preston's back kind of at the helm. And other than that, I don't think there's been any shenanigans. I don't think they've really. I don't think I've seen signings.
Oh, I've spotted some shenanigans. I spotted some Crawley shenanigans.
Go on.
Go on.
They did a fan questionnaire that was basically a
I
way
saw
for them to try and
this.
get a new
Yes.
mascot. And a volunteer who is in charge of liaising with mascots and sorting all that stuff out tweeted her disapproval of this in a very nice, constructive way, and has been potted for it. She no longer
from a
has
volunteer role, no less.
I think that's something I'd do. I think I'd get sacked from a volunteer role.
And
It is now 9 o'clock. Do we have an announcement?
Well, I was just going to ask if those Crawley away wins came while Scott Lindsay was still there.
Yes, I think they would have done.
Possibly, yeah. Although I have got
Because
some
they
more
started
nonsense
the
to
season
share.
well.
League Two nonsense.
League
Swindon
Two
are particularly fun at the moment. But they made up a Bovril, a national Bovril shortage on Saturday to explain why they couldn't serve Bovril at the county grounds on Saturday against Bradford. And then, I mean, of all the things that Swindon lie about, that one was.
And the replies were just full of people like, "No, I'm in my supermarket now. They've got shitloads of Bovril. I can't move for Bovril right now."
I had Bovril.
I saw Swindon fans in the replies being like, "Is there also a pie shortage? Is there also a hot dog shortage? Because there's none of these in the stand either."
Swindon have foot-long sausage rolls in the home end.
That's not long enough.
Do they do foot-long vegan sausage rolls? Because if they do, I might go.
I don't know. I wouldn't want one. Never asked.
Good.
The Greg's ones are really good. I recommend them.
The Greg's, I have had the Greg's ones actually. I bought them for an American lady, and having eaten it, I wasn't 100% sure that I hadn't poisoned her with meat products.
And that's how
Because
you know
they-
it's a good
Yeah.
imitation meat product.
I also got her a vegan festive bake.
Very nice.
The vegan festive bakes
Greggs
are
is-
acceptable, actually. I'm
We're
afraid.
not sponsored by Greggs, but Greggs, if you want to
I wish we
sponsor us, I'm
were.
not going to
I mean, we could be.
But
We
you
know.
can get Greg's stuff for using the Fan Hub app. So if you consume this content on the Fan Hub app, you get rewarded with Greg's, which is pretty much how I hoped my life would one day go. I hoped one day
Same.
I would do something and you could be rewarded for seeing that something with a Greg's. It's the only way that I'll listen to my own voice.
It is the thing that when I was a child and at school I was being asked, you know, what are my life ambitions? It was one of mine. So
Yeah, pasties for sex. Right, let's wrap up there, 'cause I'm on 6% battery, which is a new 5%. Excellent. Right, let's wrap it up there, baby. Are we in the courtyard on Saturday so people can come and say hello, or not?
Yeah. I am.
Good.
I think.
Good over there.
I might be in briefly, but I have work after. So if yeah.
That doesn't stop you being in the courtyard before then, does it?
Yes, but I need to go to work before as well. It's a whole thing.
All right.
It's a whole big thing.
It's the whole thing to avoid you all.
I do also need to get my season ticket back off Nick. So
I will be dropping that by you tomorrow. Actually, I was going to coordinate with you. Yeah, 'cause I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, so I'll be up your end, so to speak.
well, I might be at work depending on what time your doctor's appointment is. So that might not work.
It's at 11:30 in the AM.
Yeah,
All right,
I'll
she
be at
maybe
work.
do this offline. That'd be ace.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I'll go in.
I
Say
thought
goodbye
people
to
wanted
everybody.
this. I thought people wanted her.
Let's just say goodbye to everyone before my battery goes, and I will text you both very
Bye.
shortly.
Bye,
Bye,
see you next
everyone.
week.
Bye.